development there. But again, there are diplomatic relations between the two. Well, us and Venezuela, so that's a good start, because we heard the Venezuelan ambassador, he was here with Kijan about could have been 2 to 3 weeks ago. He said relations are good. We have reported that despite all the public utterances and the back and forth between the politicians, the diplomats have been suggesting that relations are still pretty okay, despite there would have been suspension of flights last month to Caracas. The diplomatic corps, they're still here. Our diplomatic team, they're still out there. So, you know, once that bridge is still open, there will be a chance. Obviously, it's not going to be anything, I believe, that will happen overnight. This will take a long time to thaw out. It's when conversations are not happening and diplomatic delegations are told to go back home. That's when you know it hit the fan. We're not there. We are nowhere close to there, so we give thanks. At least there is that process now, and that thawing and easing of and cooling of the temperature, as it were. Because a lot was said. I want to go back. I want to go into the he say, she say, the bacchanal of it. But we could all recall some of the utterances, less than complimentary on our side and on their side. Lots of insults would have been swirling left, right, and center. And ultimately, it boils down to President Maduro accepting and getting back to the drawing board, the man there on screen, the Presidente. So we wait and see. In the meantime, we have to treat with what's at hand, you know, the deals that we have going for us, and I would imagine find ways to pivot and to find new sources of income. We look at the manufacturing product, we look at the maritime product, right? Bring back that maritime product to Chagaramas, where back in the day it would have been a hub to fix yachts and really treat with everything within that space. There's so much potential in the tourism product. As a matter of fact, we're going to treat with that via the Business Guardian today. The Business Guardian is suggesting that Mandalena, a once proud establishment there in Tobago, is in need of a serious revamp. It leaves much to be desired. So that discussion concerning the tourism product and the potential that is Tobago, that's coming up via the Business Guardian. Yeah, you see, gas slam run down Mandalena, and if you see the picture, that is mold on the column, you know. Come on, man. We heard of a guest turning the shower on, no water. I know sometimes the AC doesn't come off in the room, all the tiles sweating, you could fall down. It's been a scene, and it's such a beautiful location. It's one of the most premium and prestige locations in Tobago. Just the whole drive-in, it's truly tremendous. You see the grandeur of the spread of the property. But again, as everything else, we build stuff and we have to maintain it. Maintenance is the key. You can't just build something and leave it. Eventually, it will run down. All right, and maintenance is a daily, weekly, monthly process, especially when you're dealing with a massive property like Mandalena. So we will unpack that inside the Business Guardian later on this morning. Well, what I could say with some of the other developments here, we're looking at an officer critical after being shot during a robbery. That's Police Constable Amon Andrews. I'll get some details from Officer Russell when he steps in later on concerning his colleague. And obviously, a couple of regional stories grabbing my attention. The Barbados Prime Minister urges support for full free movement of CARICOM nationals. But on our side, economists are suggesting our economy is not in the place right now to accommodate such. So it's a great read, a couple of proper stories this morning as always. Yeah, analyst, TNT's economy can support expanded CARICOM migration, and that's from economist Dr. Indira Sajiwan. So, you know, lots going on via the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. A really, I would say, full copy this morning. It's actually a thick paper this morning. Lots going on. Let's head to the back page. What's going on with the CW, with the West Indies funds? Drying up. The fact that we had so much tournaments, we had some money in the coffers, so much so next year they can't accommodate the CW's under 17 tournament, so that's going to be scrapped. And you know, that's where you get some of the emerging talent, and it's unfortunate because naturally that's where you get the next generation and give the youngsters a chance to go out there, get the experience. And I guess that's why we're finding ourselves in such a ticklish spot, because literally the test starts, well, it started today against India, and I've been reliably informed that West Indies went into bat and we got bowled down for 120-something runs. Yeah, like, as in bowled out. I think India in right now, and obviously, you know, they're going to rack up some runs. So if we go at this particular pace, this first test might be over in 3 to 4 days. It's unfortunate. Again, listen, the game is going on. It's not written in stone, but India, as you know, #1 team, premier, top tier. Speaking about top tier, we saw a top tier performance from PSG yesterday in Spain, in Barcelona's house, coming from behind to win in the 90th minute, 2-1, a really amazing game, attacking football, free-flowing football, creative football, the way we like it. And PSG looks like the real deal. And if they continue with that momentum, they might be able to very well defend their Champions League crown come next year. Also big wins for Arsenal yesterday and a couple of other exciting matches within the Champions League. Just a quick reminder, FIFA World Cup qualifier, our men's senior squad versus Bermuda, October 10th, very critical game. It's a must-win for Trinidad and Tobago. We had to debrief on this Thursday morning, and yes, indeed, the president, she says, work of women must not be taken for granted. That was all part of the awards. Remember, we had Lisa Agard on the program last week speaking about this gala that transpired there for emerging leaders, a woman's kind of forum, and they were able to celebrate a couple of truly amazing women champions in their own field. All right, seeing Dr. Christine Minto-Bean, Maya Nanan was there, Susan Lacan-Batiste. You know, well done to all the ladies. And I think I missed out one person there. No, let me make sure I get everybody in the mix here. All right, so we had Dr. Minto-Bean, Maya, Susan, and I didn't see the fourth name, but nonetheless, congratulations. And I'm seeing here, Trevor works on, it's a picture here, some work being done at the Swaha Hindu College in Sandi Grandi, and it's all part of Ram Leela celebrations. Yes, so as mentioned, the Business Guardian, the breakdown is coming up next with Anthony Wilson, and we will unpack the front page. Let's put that front page up one more time. We're going to treat with the Tobago tourism product. Now, the Business Guardian front page, yes, thank you so much. I want to find out about this Mandalena scenario and what the finance minister is going to do, because apparently he promises to do better. Business Guardian, the breakdown, up next.
Succeed with Rand Credit Union, you can believe that you can achieve. Big goals, small ones too. Rand Credit Union, we've got you. No more waiting, that won't do. Make someday today. One life, so make it good. Live the way you know you should. With Rand Credit Union, yes you could. Make someday today.
Live your best life today with Rand Credit Union.
At Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, we are committed to providing quality products for all major building projects. Let's build together with rebars and beams, BRC coils and mats, RHS and angles, roofing sheets and purlins, lumber, plywood and MDF. Bagwansing's, building homes, building communities, building TNT for over 60 years. Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, building value every day.
Southern Food Basket. Quality food to fill your basket. Get it all at Southern Food Basket. Fresh goods on every aisle with best prices. For the best market around. High quality meats pound for pound. Get the best for let's start shopping. Go to Southern Food Basket. Shopping all
Welcome indeed. It is time for your Business Guardian breakdown. A quick piece of information. I've been reliably informed it's about 162 the West Indies made in their first innings there, but we'll talk about that later on. My goodness, that's a cause for concern. What's also a cause for concern is what I'm seeing via the front of the Business Guardian with Mandalena, and what is clearly a property in need of a serious revamp and some repair. Let's get some details from Anthony Wilson, who joins me from the Business Guardian. Well, Anthony from the Business Guardian desk. And Anthony, let me again say good morning. Thank you for the time. And is this the real deal? Is that not a Photoshop? Is that mold I'm seeing on a column, Anthony?
Jason, good morning.
Good morning to you. No, I'm concerned. I'm seeing what looks like mold, Anthony.
Yes, yeah. Well, I have not been to Magdalena in a while, so I cannot personally attest to the fact that that is mold, but it looks quite unsightly. And what is also a little discomforting is the fact that there's caution tape around a staircase at the Magdalena.
Well, I'm watching that on Business Guardian page 5, and I'm seeing the rust on one of the doors. I mean, obviously, the property is close to the ocean, so yes, sea blast would be part of any property that's close to the sea. That's why you have to maintain anything that's chrome and, certain
Yes.
Metal materials. If you don't maintain it, paint it, power wash, this would be the outcome.
Yes, it's really not a good look for what is the largest hotel in Tobago. It's not a good look at all. I personally think that the hotel should have been taken out of service and maybe spend 6 or 9 months giving it a thorough workover. I guess one of the issues there would have been the lack of money to do so. But, it's guests have come there, complained on TripAdvisor. Somebody from the newsroom spent some time there and was really quite shocked at the state of the property.
Does this bring or call into question the need for, well, other than obviously upgrade to Mandalena, people have been asking for a while, they're saying that Tobago needs a brand name. They need something that is, a world-class facility. And I mean, listen, this location, Mandalena's location, is tremendous. I remember Mandalena in its glory days, really a fantastic space. There are a lot of people who live in and around the property, but the hotel itself, I mean, this is a real cause for concern. I mean, this is going to cost lots of millions, and I'm seeing that the finance minister might treat with this in the budget. Do you anticipate there might be a special consideration for Mandalena?
Yeah, well, one can only hope. The minister said to Elizabeth in Tobago, Elizabeth Gonzalez in Tobago, that he wants to do things differently to how the previous administration did them. And by differently, I could only interpret that as meaning he wants to do better, because the fact that the hotel is in a state that it's in indicates a significant lack of maintenance. And clearly there needs to be money spent on bringing the hotel back up to a certain level that it can accommodate guests in comfort. Nobody wants to be spending hundreds or thousands of dollars booking a room at a hotel, and then when they get to the front desk and they are directed to their room, the room is not in a state of preparedness for them. That's really not a good look at all.
Before we wrap things up with the Mandalena story, I know back in 2019 they were looking to sell off the property. That did not transpire. What's the talk in that space, in that realm? Is there still talk of selling Mandalena? And if so, who you think might be willing to pay for this property?
Well, my understanding is that there was a request for proposals to either lease or purchase the property. That does not seem to have gone very far. So I think the current administration needs to come up with a new plan for the long-term sustainability of that property. And if it means selling it as is, which is probably not going to yield a very high price, or a total refurbishment and then putting it back onto the market, that may be the better approach for the current administration to take.
Indeed. I want to pivot now to your story. You're treating with how countries could get upgraded. We're speaking about the S&P downgrade, but you've also put forward suggestions how countries could get back in terms of the proper ratings. What's your takeaway from your piece here on page 3?
Yeah, I think the basic takeaway is that if the government wants to maintain its investment grade rating, so we are now at BBB minus, which is the lowest investment grade. So if Trinidad and Tobago were to be downgraded, it would be into junk bond status, and junk bond status takes Trinidad and Tobago's, the government bonds and the bonds issued by state enterprises totally off the market for some investors and investment companies, because there are many investment companies that stipulate that they do not invest in junk bonds at all. So it's something that needs to be carefully managed. Again, this is an issue that's going to come up in the 2026 budget. But to me, the takeaway from this is that the government needs to make some difficult decisions on reducing the fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit is the difference between what the government spends and what it earns. And if that situation, if the situation of fiscal deficits is not brought under control, there is no doubt, and this has been signaled by S&P in its report last week, there's no doubt that Trinidad and Tobago is going to be downgraded from BBB minus into junk bond status.
Really quick, in the seconds that remain, Anthony, because we're looking to wrap things up, but I want to get your perspective really fast. The Dragon gas scenario, the dance, the Cindy Dragon could now dance, well, at least in the months, probably years ahead. Is it going to be a solo dance? Is it a duet, a cha-cha-cha, or is it a conga line involving Trinidad, Venezuela, and the USA? How you see this new development?
Well, it has to involve Trinidad and Tobago, Venezuela, and Shell at the start. Those are the three partners in the development of the Dragon gas field. There's no way that this development can take place if the Venezuelans are sidelined, or if Venezuela is told that it cannot receive, quote unquote, significant benefits from the property, from the natural gas field. So I think the government needs to put some serious diplomatic and economic force into negotiating with both the Venezuelan government and with the United States government to get the OFAC dispensation.
Yeah. Understood. Thanks so much for the perspective, Anthony. Have a safe one, and God spare we touch base again next week, Thursday. All the best.
Thank you very much, Jason.
You're most welcome. Anthony Wilson from the Business Guardian desk. Up next, the economy and agriculture. Let's get some details from Riyad Mohammed, agriculture consultant. Very important conversation, and we're just dealing with food security and the whole diversification conversation around agriculture. That's what's up next.
Richmond Park for the home that is uniquely you. Choose your own contemporary design, including 2-story homes that suits your lifestyle. Enjoy family walks in our pet-friendly spacious community with scenic views of the Northern Range. Choose your own parcel of land and create your own dream home, including fixtures, fittings, and aesthetics that define who you are. Richmond Park, where home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. Mattress Road, Canopia, Airport, and shopping centers nearby. Call 355-7703.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
Food Basket. Food Basket, nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh producers, everything fantastic. For everyday low price, things real nice. Come in once, but to come back twice. Wholesale, retail, everything for you. A remush, I wanna shop, flare, go view. Food Basket, the nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh producers, everything fantastic. Food Basket. Marketplace Shogunas, where shopping is a pleasure and the price is right.
The detergent smells nice while washing, but when you use the new Downy Intense fabric softener, with its new multi-capsule fragrance, it releases an intense scent that lasts twice as long. With the new Downy Intense, you'll enjoy a rich and delightful fragrance that keeps you feeling fresh 24/7.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Hey, welcome back. Let's touch base with Riyad Mohammed. He's on the Zoom line, agriculture consultant. And Riyad, it's always good to see you. When you give us advice on the program, it's always hard-hitting. You're a man, you understand the sector, you're on the ground, and you bring it to us in a way we can understand. And with the budget around the corner, I want to obviously get some perspective. Agriculture is important, our import bill, ways we could diversify the particular sector. I look forward to the council this morning. Welcome as always, Riyad.
Morning, G. Thanks. I'm glad to be here. Right, so let's get started. Everybody wants to know what's up for the budget, right? And that's a question I've been asked the last couple of days. Well, to be accurately honest, I don't think that there will be a big increase or investment for the agricultural part in terms of the budget, but I do think that the industry will get greater emphasis and attention. So for instance, the national budget of Trinidad and Tobago for 2024 to 2025, we were allocated $1.184 billion to assist the continuous expansion of the agri-sector as always. To some extent, it was used for digital transformation of the agri-sector, but I mean, it's happening every year. We always know that most of this money and investment was directly used to run the departments within the public sector.
It baffles me because, I mean, there is so much potential there, and I know there are people willing. It's just the incentive and the support that's needed. Before we expand on that, let's look at the figures. What's the current import bill, and why is it growing? Because from information, I'm seeing that every year it's growing. So what's the current number right now?
Okay, so the food imports in the Trinidad and Tobago cost more than, I think, $7.3 billion TT, and this was a figure from 2024, and it did substantially rise over the last couple of years. So this sum actually demonstrates the extent to which the nation relies on food imports to meet our domestic demands, right? And like I said, it grew from $5 billion a couple of years ago straight up to 7.3. I'm not sure what's the updated number to date. I think we had to maybe wait until the end of this year. And it really happens because of what consumers demand, right? Consumers drive that import bill.
Clearly, our palate change, Riyadh. I mean, we want stuff. We want more fancy meals, fancy snacks. What's going on?
Exactly that. So let me just talk about some consumer demands. When it comes to domestic and local production, sometimes we cannot meet the food demands of certain items, especially with our growing population, and most importantly, the change in dietary patterns, particularly when our local consumers' tastes and preferences are influenced externally. So Jay, you know, when you go on TikTok and you see them nice fancy restaurants selling these nice fancy foods, and well, you are studying none of the items really locally sourced. You want that, and you want to take a picture close to the food and post it up on IG, right? So the demand for food has grown beyond what can be produced locally on some commodities, really due to rapid urbanization and population growth, making the importation of some items necessary. So really, as wages increase, dietary patterns change and shift towards more meat, dairy, processed foods, and luxury imports, the demand locally increases, which leads now to the rise in the importation of certain food and beverage items.
Riyadh, what's considered a luxury import? Give me an example of a fruit or a particular product that is contributing to this $7 billion a year we're spending.
I would say something like strawberries and blueberries. However, let me also note that we are now producing some of these at an experimental level of basis locally. I mean, for the last couple of years, we did produce some strawberries, and most of the consumers would have said, you know, it's not as sweet as at times. Recently, I bought some blueberry plants. I have it in front, maybe about 4 or 6 months now, maybe, right? So I'm waiting to see how that turns out. So a lot of these imported items, we are trying to grow in the tropical environment. And one of the big things that I must mention is the Wambugu apples, right, originating from Kenya. I would guess in the last almost a year that there was a significant level of importation of grafted trees into the country. And I now am doing some big business plans for some clients, and I'm expanding that industry, because who would have ever thought? I mean, I'm 34 years old. Who would have ever thought that apples could grow in Trinidad and Tobago? So we have the nurseries here, and we have the KPIs and target performance and coefficients for how the plants are supposed to perform in a tropical environment. So I'm eagerly awaiting that 9-month to 12-month period where those trees and nurseries will flower and give us some amount of fruit.
Yeah, please keep us posted if indeed that comes to harvest. What issues plague our food production sector?
Oh, that is a kind of big one there. I'll try to squeeze it in a couple of minutes, if so much. So let's just stick to the basic sectors, the crop sector and the livestock sector. When it comes to the crop sector, you're speaking about challenges with soil and land, right? Poorly structured, dense, and poorly drained soil in important agricultural regions such as the Caroni lands, really leading to flooding and a rise in pest and disease, right? Also, due to limited availability of nutrients caused by the acidic soils, the farmers are forced to use a lot of artificial fertilizers, and that's really a significant obstacle in local development. Also, you have some constraints on labor and production, right? So according to many farmers, one of the biggest obstacles in crop production is the cost and availability of skilled labor, which is really followed by, as usual, plant diseases, plant illnesses, predial larceny, which is known as crop theft, damage by birds and mammals. You also have weather and input costs, as well as accessibility. Inadequate road infrastructure, marketing challenges, and a lack of funding are also further limitations. We even have weather and climate impacts. So, for example, for the crop farmers, rising temperatures, heavy rainfall, and flooding are just some of the effects of the climate change that pose a threat to productivity by altering these planting cycles and raising the possibility of crop damage. Also, agricultural investment and policy. Trinidad and Tobago's agricultural industry has really historically received inadequate funding, in my opinion, that's a personal opinion, limiting its ability to really grow and modernize. So programs to supply high quality seeds, farmer grants, soil health measures are all part of the efforts we need to invest in our farming sector to diversify the economy and improve food security locally. Yeah, and we have a tiny GDP of less than 2%, right? And let me just mention, what's bad about just talking about agriculture. When you say agriculture, most people think about crop production, but they neglect livestock production totally. And I'm a livestock scientist by qualification. I will tell you that the livestock sector is so much more neglected. For example, the swine industry, to control the outbreaks and improve biosecurity of the porcine reproductive and respiratory syndrome, or the recent PRRS, there's really been a heightened national surveillance and disease tracking efforts, especially for pigs and pig farms.
Yeah, so a situation in Komoto recently with some pigs that put some pigs down.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and that farmer lost a whole lot. I didn't hear of that incident.
Tens of thousands? Yeah, he said tens of thousands.
But he noticed, after that, correct, hundreds of thousands.
Wow.
Right, if you look at the dairy industry, we have a lot of elderly farmers, and sometimes the limited adoption of technology, those are hindrances as well. Also on the farmer side, inadequate record keeping, high production cost, right? The dairy industry is experiencing some amount of downturn as well. Also high labor and feed expenses, even issues with land tenureship, home marketing facilities, and converting that raw milk into value-added products. If you look at the poultry industry, when I say poultry, I'm talking about like broilers, layers, ducks, quails. We get back into quails recently, right? So you have a grain production cost and structural inefficiencies that really impede the productivity and expansion, and it's mainly due to like the high cost of feed. And then you have overarching obstacles in all livestock sectors. When it comes down to supply, consistency, demand, dependability, again, protection against predator larceny is huge. When you lose a large ruminant, it's 10,000 over times, right? So those are just some of the issues with just basic crop production and livestock production. I don't even want to go into agro-processing or all of the other value chain segments.
But Riyad, let me just go back to the soil for the crop production. I've always been told that we've been blessed with really amazing soil. It's certain areas where you could actually grow stuff organic. I've heard of the Santa Cruz effect, the soil in Paramin, Grand Couva, Saparia, certain areas. You grow up and you hear this from the elders now. Is that the case, or do they have to still process? Because I know Paramin is, when it comes to Paramin and the hillside, very, very rich with vegetation. Grand Couva with the cocoa. We've heard of the great reports.
Really rich soils. But what we are not often educated about is investing in soil health and the microbial levels in the soil. We often think about just nutrients alone, and nutrients alone really can't make crops produce as prolific.
Okay.
So we must pay attention to soil health. Adding that type of compost, vermicompost, cured manure, all of those good substrates that add to the soil, to add life to the soil. We just shouldn't see soil as something inanimate or dead. Actually, it has a lot of life in the soil.
Okay, understood. What support systems currently exist for local food production across these sectors? You mentioned, livestock. You mentioned crops. What systems are already in place, and what could we do to put some more muscle into these systems?
So we have the Agricultural Development Bank. That's a financing institution that gives farmers loans. You also have NEDCO, which is the National Entrepreneurship Development Company Limited. Those give some amount of financing. You have amazing ministries like the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries. They have a lot of extension services, right? I could comment on that a bit more. Let me leave that for a bit after. They also have the agricultural societies like the ASTT, right? So you have NAMDEFCO that will help you get markets for your crop products, right? You also have external agencies like the FAO, right? So all of these are supported agencies that will help local agriculture. But what I think is most important, G, is when all of us sit in the room at the same time, hear the same thing, discuss the same things, and be in alignment with each other. Because what happens is that many of the organizations, especially here locally, they function a bit independently of each other. So they don't really know what Mal's doing or Ministry of Planning doing, or how that can help with exporting and trade. right? So I think all of us need to be very synchronized, and there must be open and effective communication consistently. Yeah.
You know, it baffles me that we still don't put the kind of emphasis on agriculture. I mean, look at some of these countries that we admire. We look at these first world countries. Canada and these places, still a major part of their GDP is pegged to agriculture. You know, the US, France, all these places we look at. So
if you look at Guyana, their development of the coconut industry, their greenhouses, their shade houses, they're growing different types of livestock feed, right? They're expanding their livestock. I have so much more business going on in Guyana than Trinidad and Tobago. For actually mega clients.
Imagine
they grow at least 100 acres of land, and the largest client I have grows almost 1,000 acres of food.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, they have the space to it. I mean, they have the space.
Of course.
They literally could be they could be the bread basket of the whole Caribbean if they want to.
And I think they will be. You know what's the good thing about RJ is that they have leaders there that are very strategic, and they understand that, yes, they have a lot of oil money and some good minerals and good resources, but they pump that directly into food production because they realize here what? That could save our country, that will add to our GDP. It is long-term sustainability. It will give everybody some jobs. It will help the rural communities. It will develop their skill set, right? Because I think they're doing some really good planning, and they have some good technical experts giving them some advice on that side.
You know, I'm watching the graphic in the background there, coconut tree blowing in the breeze. You know, remember last year there was a shortage of coconut water? And I'm saying to myself,
twice.
Coconut water went from $50 for a 2 liter to
I think 70 or 75
and 80 and thing. Some places even 100. So
and you may see that again. Well, next year around March, April, somewhere there, right? Bet your bottom dollar. When they pull again, you will see Riyadh buyers, right?
How come?
Well, there's really one dry season does cause a bit of a shortage, right? Simply because coconut trees need a lot of irrigation. And then the beetle, right, that's damaging those trees, and little yellow. And I have a couple other pests and disease that's hampering the sector, right? So we need to really pump some more resources in the rehabilitation programs and educate the farmers as to how to manage the pests and disease. You know, decades ago, our coconut industry was really booming, and right now you can just drive by and see those tall trees as like a landmark, and it's part of, I won't say history now, I don't want to use that word, but it's heading in that direction. Yeah.
As we wrap things up, Riyadh, what would be an ideal figure when that budget is read? What you think will be a really nice figure that could give some encouragement and boost to the sector?
All right, so let me deal with reality and let me deal with wish list. Reality, if we get 1.2 billion, I think that's what we will get. I think if we get 5 billion, which I know I don't think we'll ever get that. If we get that type of investment into local agriculture for at least 3 to 5 year period, we could do so much more. We could connect the private sector to the public sector. We could expand our PSIPs. There's so much more that we could do for that. Like I say, a 5 year period with this new government. I am hoping for the best. I know we should see some more attention being paid, but I am being also very realistic. If we get 1.2 billion, I think that may be the figure next week. Monday, when I speak to you again, or maybe next week, that might be the figure.
Yeah, because as mentioned, you know, so many of these big countries we look at and we don't even realize that agriculture still plays a major part. I look at Canada and look at their product. I remember us flying from Houston to Calgary, and when we were over Canadian airspace, looking down for
Green.
Look, it just feels, you could just tell it's things going on down there. Well planned. Any closing remarks, Riyadh, as we wrap things up on this Thursday?
Jay, I just want to leave 2 comments. I don't think we should make promises to the farming community that we cannot keep as leaders. However, I do believe that we have a brighter future now in the agricultural sector, and we must work together. Everyone in this country has strengths at all levels, right? So I think we should really work together to protect the country. Yeah, thanks again for that, Jay.
All the best as always. Let's touch base post-budget 2025-26. Yeah, we'll get some perspective from Riyadh, always keeping it keeping it real, bringing it to us in a way we can understand, and he's definitely, hands-on within the sector. So thanks, as always, for the perspective. Up next, Police and You. Officer Russell, he joins me, ESP Ori Russell, Media Ambassador. We are treating with road safety and some other tips moving up to 7 o'clock.
Do you think all dishwashing soaps are the same? With some, they require more effort, and they don't wash as much. Try Dawn and discover its grease cleaning power. Dawn removes stuff grease easier and faster than others. Additionally, it foam lasts 50% more. With Dawn, you use less product to clean more dishes and save with every wash. Dawn, triple grease cleaning power.
Join Pastor Gino Jennings for our second Trinidad and Tobago Holy Convocation at the Centerpoint Mall, Centrum Auditorium, 325 Ramsaran Street, Chaguanas, Trinidad. Services are Saturday, October 11th at 6 p.m. and Sunday, October 12th at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Again, Centerpoint Mall, 325 Ramsaran Street, Chaguanas, Trinidad. Saturday, October 11th at 6 p.m. and Sunday, October 12th at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. For information, call 267-989-9189.
Vasu Agarbatti incense sticks offer a bold aromatic fragrance in a variety of scents for all your religious, worship, and meditational needs. Made from the highest quality ingredients for a long-lasting botanical scent. Choose from a variety of options to suit your spiritual and meditational needs. Let the vibrancy of Vasu Agarbatti fill your home with its wonderful aroma and calming effects. Available at supermarkets, puja, and variety stores nationwide.
Freedom 106.5 FM in collaboration with Crown Her Trinidad and Tobago say it's time to be period proud. Let's remove the stigma, shame, and silence around periods. Join us on this national campaign of reshaping the way we think and talk about menstruation. We will break the myths, share the facts, and build a culture of respect and understanding. Catch Period Proud on CNC3 Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 5:55 p.m. and on Freedom 106.5 FM, on air, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Ask the Doctor's new season is here as Dr. Joel Tilak Singh covers a range of topics and, most importantly, answers all your medical questions.
Join us on Ask the Doctor live on CNC3 on Thursdays at a new time of 8:30 p.m. with a rerun on Fridays at 11 a.m.
Russell joins me for another installment of Police and You. Officer Russell, great to have you as always.
Thanks, it's a pleasure being here. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, on behalf of the Commissioner, Deputy Commissioner, First and Second Division Officer to Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Good morning.
Indeed, we are treating with road safety today. Up to yesterday, myself, Nakisha, one of our colleagues, we're going out the road to do some interviews, man on the street. And right there on Abercrombie, a man is doing the most. I say, like, this man feel, you know what I feel, and I'm saying to myself, you know, you will really wish there's a part of you that there's a desire that you could see firsthand when people make them kind of drive and take them kind of risks unnecessary that they're reprimanded. Now, officers can't be on every corner, but what could we do? What could really go down now as something serious when it comes to changing that behavior? I know culture is one of the hardest things to change, and we've been lawless for a long time. But some folks are still doing the most, officer, and they seem to get away with it all the time, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. I feel hurt.
Well, let me tell you something, right? In Trinidad and Tobago, the society has this way you know, we complain about the police, but as soon as many of us recognize that there is no police there, we tend to want to do the wrong thing. But safety begins with you, the individual. I like to put things back to the public for they to do the thinking, to see exactly what they are doing, and to be the first judge and the first assessor of your behavior. So what I would want to start by saying our slogan, I road safe because road safety begins with me. I road safe because road safety begins with me. So it starts with you, the individual. You have to make that first decision to drive safely.
I mean, I hear you, and it's a fantastic campaign, beautiful words, but let's deal with the reality of the day. There are folks who, that flying over their head, Officer Russell, you know, that they're not taking that to heart. There are consequences for certain actions, and for some reason they're lacking when it comes to the road culture. People still going up the shoulder, man still doing the most on the highway, overtaking where you're not supposed to on a main road. And there are officers who are sometimes parked on the highway especially, and men go zoom, and I'm yet to see an officer run down a man.
All right, no.
With lights on and tell him pull aside, and what is this? Even truckmen too, doing the most. Truckmen and delivery men too doing the most.
Definitely. Now, let me tell you something, in our attempts to go forward and modernize the police service, the way we measure speed now is by use of our speed guns. So not every patrol car may be so equipped with a speed gun on board. The speed gun captures your speed and takes a picture. That is how the speed is evidenced and brought before the court, so that you could be properly penalized should you fail to pay a ticket. So we have that issue in the absence of the speed gun, where, you know, you would see that persons that you may believe and see that persons are not being penalized per se unless we are doing a dedicated speed exercise. But under public safety, in one of our pillars in the TPS, we are looking at procuring more speed guns because we want to have improved that road safety and traffic management. We are looking at procuring more EFPN, fixed penalty devices, the electronic devices now that we use to issue the tickets. So things will change, especially coming up to this season, because we know we have started the countdown for the 100 days of Christmas. So we're going Christmas to Carnival.
But you know, a stern warning could suffice, and you know, a stern warning could save a life, because I understand what you're saying with the speed gun, and you're looking at it through the legal framework, yes. With the speed gun, you could say, officially, this person is over 100, and with that now, fixed penalty, fine, points. But if you literally in a squad car, and a man gone past, you don't need a speed gun to know this man is going at 130, 140, he zoom past, run them down. I'm suggesting to run them down, because truckmen, delivery men, we have seen some antics on that highway, and sometimes, God forbid, that same person who went past could take their own, well, could take the life of someone else or endanger innocence.
Definitely, and some persons, we could even lose our lives running them down as well, because most of Trinidad and Tobago drive with their ACs on, the music would be up, so sometimes persons are hearing the siren, some of them refuse to move, some of them not even moving when they hear the siren.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, we need to do the right thing in the absence of authority. Do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And we must understand speed can thrill, but speed can also kill. What we need to do in Trinidad and Tobago is start putting ourselves in that other person's position. What if that person who is speeding injures your family? You know, we have taxi drivers that are driving on the shoulder with a vehicle with 7 passengers.
What's your advice to passengers in a vehicle where the driver's doing the most?
The passengers need to tell the driver, driver, excuse me, you need to slow down, please. Because remember, that is your life, you know.
You know, sometimes drivers just tell them, it's either shut up or come out.
Or come out.
Yes, the drivers just give them back lip, you know.
Yes.
And everybody else just stay quiet.
So hear what? You dial the TTPS. Get us involved, because you see, not because you late that morning, because it has 7 persons in a vehicle, 1 person late, the others are on time. That person may have no problem with that driver driving on the shoulder that morning because they are late. But let me ask you this. If that driver is to knock down somebody that is a relative of the person that is late, so the thing twist quick. We only empathize and sympathize in Trinidad and Tobago when it happens to you or your loved ones. We need to move away from that.
It's true. Only when they land on the doorstep.
We need to start caring, because caring is what we do. We need to start to show that love. We need to start to show that respect. Leave home a little earlier. Stay off your cell phones. And we know just now many persons will be fetting, partying, Christmas time, Christmas function, work to do at home, the painter coming, this coming, all the things that have to be fixed for the Christmas. We have a lot of tired persons on the road who are drowsy and driving, and some of them may even engage in micro-napping, where they might nod off from time to time. We have to really be cognizant of that. Discourage persons from driving drowsy, discourage persons from driving under the influence. Be that example.
Before we get to the news, you know what I'm seeing within recent time? A lot of people on electric bikes or some kind of motorized moped. It doesn't seem to be. First, is it street legal? Some of us seeing, I mean, men zipping through the community and stuff, and then you road there. But I'm seeing, but I wonder, I see no license plate on this. What's going on? Have you seen that?
I have recognized it, and it doesn't sit well with me. I am hoping that the legislators could bring something to the table shortly, or the licensing office could do some research and clear it up, because it's under particular CC. Yeah. However, it's a motorized vehicle, and I'm seeing them on the public roadway, as you say, and through the communities, and it's not registered. There's no insurance. So I think it's something, and I'm happy that you raised it, because I tell you, it doesn't sit well with me. So it's something we really need to look at quickly before an incident happens.
Professor Russell, I want you to stick around. Let's head to the news, and I want us to come back and treat with some more major talking points. And by all means, you know, always very much impactful conversation every Thursday. Police and you, myself, Officer Russell. We come back after the news.
Let the divine lights of the Dias bring victory over darkness into your life. Happy Diwali to all. A message from Kaleidoscope Paints Limited. Food Basket. Food Basket, nation's #1 supermarket. Bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh producers, everything fantastic. For every day low price, things real nice. Come in once, but to come back twice. Wholesale, retail, everything for you. A real much I wanna shop for you. Food Basket, the nation's #1 supermarket. Bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh producers, everything fantastic. Food Basket. Marketplace Champlain, where shopping is a pleasure and the price is right.
Period nights don't have to look like this. Move less, wake up to change. So change for a real night's sleep with Always Overnight. Its 3 times protection system absorbs, locks the fluid, and keeps it away from your skin. For protected nights without leaks. Always.
Good morning, I'm Ryan Beach with headline news on CNC3 and the TBC radio network. International relations experts say TNT's hesitation to adopt full and free CARICOM movement reflects its current economic realities. Economist Dr. Indira Sajiwan notes the country must focus on growth and job creation before fully opening its borders. Barbados, Belize, Dominica and St. Vincent and the Grenadines have announced unrestricted entry of their nationals into each other's countries, signaling a move for a deeper regional integration. Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley says this move demonstrates the possibilities of coordinated regional mobility. But TNT faces unique socio-economic challenges that make a cautious approach necessary. Sajiwan says only when growth and employment strengthen will this country be ready to embrace full free movement.
If it were in a boom period, I would definitely say by all means, we are more than ready for it. But in this moment, given the socioeconomic challenge, just given the kind of numbers we have already absorbed from Venezuela, I would say that in this moment we should probably hold our hands until we get to a better place. When absolutely, I think, free movement of people, it's ideally what we would want to move to.
Assistant Police Commissioner Michael Peer is confirming that police did receive a report from residents of a suspicious man lurking in the bushes before 40-year-old Alan Samaru was murdered. Police have come under fire from relatives and residents who say had they acted, the suspect may have been scared off and Samaru might still be alive. Peer told CNC3 News a call had in fact been made, but said the distance from the Gasparilla police station to the area is a 25 to 30-minute commute. Additionally, there was a mix-up in finding the location. Energy Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal has instructed the National Petroleum Marketing Company to conduct an inquiry into the death of Ria George. 47-year-old George died on Saturday after suffering third-degree burns when a leaking 20-pound LPG cylinder caused an explosion in her kitchen. NP advises customers to use soapy water to test connections from the cylinder to the stove to ensure there are no leaks. But if one is suspected, customers must disconnect and move the cylinder to a safe place immediately. NP assures that all LPG cylinders are thoroughly checked before distribution, stressing that safety remains its top priority. They are also asking the public to report any issues directly to their distributor or contact MP. George's funeral will be held on Friday at Budu's funeral home in Penal. Those were your 7 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at 8 a.m. on the TBC Radio Network.
Welcome to the second hour as we continue with the police and news segment. So much in terms of talking points, and I want to go back to Officer Russell to just get the latest with one of his colleagues here. Very, very unfortunate circumstance with this scenario of an officer I'm seeing here critical after being shot in an attempted robbery. He's attached to the Aruka police station. Any latest with this development?
Well, from what I understand, I understand that the officer is indeed critical. I believe that he was relieved of his FUL. And it just goes to show that having an FUL to the listening public does not make you invincible. It doesn't exempt you from being attacked. So it's not to say that you have this immediate bravery because you have since been blessed with an FUL. You know, you need to be aware of your surroundings. You need to be vigilant. And this is one of our officers. I mean, may God keep him and grant him that health and strength that he makes a full recovery and could return to the job. But I know that rigorous investigations are indeed taking place, and we would want to bring those perpetrators to justice in the shortest possible time.
I guess, I would imagine, you can't go into obviously intimate details if the operation's planned, but we saw a spike, 3 killed in the north yesterday. Now the murder count is at 273. Still, from what I understand, a bit less compared to last year, around the same time. But obviously, of course, for concern, what's the current approach? What's the game plan, short-term, medium-term, and long-term as it pertains to violent crime? Because you realize that's how people judge the crime rate. People really judge based on the murder rate. Granted, there are robberies and things happening all over. What's the current plan of action?
Well, let me just first correct something that you said. You know, you said it's a bit. How you said a bit what?
In terms of what the
murders, you refer to it as a bit, mean it's just a little. It's not just a little.
Well, in terms of compared to last,
when you compare our murder
a bit lower,
rate,
I said a bit lower.
It's not just a bit lower.
It's significantly lower?
It's significantly lower by probably about 190 to almost 200 less than last year.
Well, it was 475 around the same time last year.
How much it is now?
273.
Okay, then. So we're looking at 201 less.
But you see, I can't celebrate 273. You know, there's nothing to celebrate as far as I'm concerned. It should be why Angola and these places. Yes, granted, economy has scale, smaller population, but there are places where the population is 1.6 and they're not going through big parts of the U.S. where they're not going through no 273 a year when it comes to murders.
And that is great. And that is great. But you know what I want to say This is where the collaborative effort comes in between the TTPS, all national security arms, and the public, because the public always see, hear something, always have some information, whether they hear it through the grapevine, it's John's son, it's Peter's son, it's Harry's daughter. The public always have information that can help us. So we want the public to come forward and partner with us as we tend to put a chokehold on these murders. Now, serious crimes are down. And you're seeing how the murders down. Yes, 273 is nothing to celebrate. We are trending, but we are trending in the right direction. So it means that our policies, our initiatives, our operations, our strategic plans and organizational plans are indeed bearing some level of fruit. What we grapple with is the fear of crime.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, when I'm looking at the numbers now, I wasn't the greatest in terms of, but I'm pulling my calculator here because, I mean, yes, it is, I wouldn't say little. You know, I have to say a significant drop.
Thank you.
Because, yes, 475 around the same time last year, now we have 273. Yeah, that's a massive drop.
Thank you.
Yes. I'll have to, you know, I'm a fair person. Huh?
I appreciate
I'm a fair person. But, you know, I would really love for us to get back to the days of a real, like, you know, I can't even recall, were we ever at a point within recent history where we were under 100? I don't know, probably by the 80s. I can't even remember.
But, you know, when you go back to when it talk about crime and capitalism, and as we tend to try to achieve that first world status, when you look at persons like Durkheim and Max Weber and all those theorists from back then, you understand that with great modernization comes crime and stuff like that. Now, I heard you compare us to the U.S., but look at the size of the U.S. And there are things that are happening out there that, you know, I knock on wood that I pray that it never happens down here. You know, so we have to look at it through our lenses, through our microscope, and treat not every plaster is suited for every sore. Trinidad and Tobago is unique where we have tracks and traces. Not everywhere might be GPS pinned or covered via Google Earth and stuff like that. So we have these little things that we could have to grapple with as well. You know, but what we call on the public to do is to you see something, say something.
Yeah, well said. It's 202 less. Yeah, that's significant. But you know, it's just, we hope it remains in this kind of downward trend and trajectory. And as you rightfully said, we as the citizenry need to speak up, also get involved, and I hope there is at no point any spike. I mean, yes, we're in a SOE, so I know things are a bit kind of locked in, but when that frees up, I hope that we keep it on a level, because last year we went to 600 hours, oh my goodness.
Well, let me tell you this, though, and I heard you mention the SOE. The SOE may or may not be over soon, but what we would have found, with respect to the persons who are detained, many of them would be charged soon. The commissioner is indeed vibrant and has the support of the membership behind him with their initiatives, the executive and the rank and file of Trinidad and Tobago Service. We have that drive, that vigor, and you know, we would continue to do all that we have to do. There are times where we may not always get it right. We ask for your mercy and forgiveness on those times, but where possible as much, because we have 800 tips, we have 555, we have 999. So even if you feel that you're in a position where you don't trust to give the police the information, we have anonymous hotlines that we can use, and we are asking the public to come forward, bring the information, because whether it's just a rumor you're hearing, hey, I think it's XYZ put on that robbery, you know, give us the information. It's something we could start a proper investigation from.
Well said. ESP Russell touching base, and again, commendation to all those who are out there putting their lives at risk to keep us safe. Police and you, another successful conversation. Keep it safe, all the best.
Thank you, Trinidad and Tobago. Have a safe weekend, and please drive safely. Stay off the cell phones, get enough rest. Speed can thrill, but speed can kill. I rode safe because road safety begins with me. Have a wonderful weekend.
Indeed. Great advice there. Let's transition and get into our mental health matters conversation. Behavioral change consultant Johanse Iodike joins me for another strong conversation. See you soon.
Let the divine lights of the deers bring victory over darkness into your life. Happy Diwali to all. A message from Kaleidoscope Paints Limited.
We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance. But we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza, in Deva Chaguanas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon.
Ready to discover the tastiest spots in Trinidad and Tobago? Restaurant Week is here from September 26th to October 5th with 100 participating restaurants across Trinidad and Tobago. We've got culinary experiences for every craving without draining your wallet, with prices starting at just $175 TT, all taxes included. Don't miss out. Head to our website and social media pages to explore menus and plan all your food adventures. Come for the food, stay for the flavor.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
Are you tired of the same old boring drive home from work? Look no further. Get ready for the ultimate after-work rush with Freedom 106.5 FM's The Overdrive with Davey. Mondays to Fridays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Let Davey take you on a thrilling ride of non-stop entertainment and education. He covers the topics of the day, delves into the latest food and lifestyle trends, and brings dynamic guests from exciting professions to share their professional stories and experiences. Take advantage of this energizing and engaging experience. Tune into Freedom 106.5 FM, Mondays to Fridays, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. for The Overdrive with Davey, the ultimate way to end your day with a bang.
This is more than just music. This is where you find the best of TNT. This is more than just a vibe. This is where Bollywood gets a twist. This is more than just energy. This is Bhangra and indie pop too. This is the mix. This is the life. Lock on or log on now. Sangeet 106.1 FM. This is authentic East Indian radio. This is us.
Mental health matters, and trust me, it does matter in a big way. And that's why I always enjoy every single Thursday the conversation with Johanse. He's back with me on set for another major talking point. Johanse says today, should you enjoy doing it? Quote unquote. Right? Johanse Ayodike, welcome, my friend.
Jason, thank you very much, and everybody viewing, welcome.
Well, I guess doing what? Doing the it is what really? Is it life we're talking about here?
But actually, I ask a vague question because when I ask that question, immediately either something comes to mind that you're enjoying, it don't matter what it is, or something comes to mind that you're not enjoying. Right? And for those viewing, and even yourself, if something you're enjoying comes to mind, do more of that.
Yeah, my mind went to the former, not the latter. My mind went to my love of nature, my love of travel, sport, football. I think I need to actually get back a little more involved in that physical activity, actually, fet match, going out every week and just getting back into the rhythm of the just physical.
The enjoyment.
Yeah, the enjoyment of it,
Perfect.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked the question in a vague manner, because when it's vague, your brain goes to whichever one is primary in your life. So if it is the enjoyment, I would say do more of that. If it goes to something you're not enjoying, then you need to reevaluate, because enjoyment to each person means something different.
So here's the challenge. What about you enjoy doing it, but you don't have the capacity anymore to do it? So for me now, yes, I love my my football. I love my activity, but I find myself now, every time I play it, getting some serious pain after. The recovery is not as how it used to be.
Right, so it's not that enjoyable anymore then. And the playing of it, because
it's just the recovery now.
It come back now with the feeling. So now, as life change, is to reevaluate what you enjoy, because you still enjoy football. So maybe you want to go and watch instead. Maybe you play a half instead of trying to play a whole game. Maybe play sometimes FET must be in thirds, right? You play a third instead. But you see, even you thinking about it is important. Now, as I was saying before, enjoyment to everybody means something different, right? So let me give a dictionary meaning. A summary of what the dictionary says. Enjoyment is either something that brings pleasure or it has benefit to you. So it brings pleasure to you or has benefits. So when you're evaluating whether you enjoy something or not, you have to evaluate whether it brings you pleasure or it's beneficial. So let me give an example. Let me say eating something nice, right? Let me say that bringing pleasure to you, so you enjoy it. But let's just say you're on the treadmill. You might say that boring, so it's not bringing pleasure. But at the end of it, it brings you some kind of benefit. So even though you might not enjoy the process of the treadmill, you enjoy the exercise, losing weight. Now, I put in those two criteria because sometimes there are things in your life that you're not getting pleasure from and it's not benefiting you, but you're still doing it.
Is there a sense of guilt sometimes with certain activities could bring a guilty pleasure? Let's say it's something that the average person would not understand, but you're doing it. It's probably a job. Let's say, like in the case of Officer Russell, I'm not going to speak on his behalf, but let's say there is an officer out there who actually enjoys arresting people. You enjoy, taking, like, you treat, I mean, that's part of your job title, yes, but you just enjoy it now. It's something that is a bit off the beaten path. Is there any kind of room for guilt inside there?
Well, first, you see, guilt and pleasure, right? Both of those words are opposites. So saying guilty pleasure, I understand what you mean.
Because you're right? Guilty pleasures, you always hear that?
But it's a bit oxymoronic, and I say that because if you feel pleasure from something, but then you feel bad, then you didn't really like it, and after a while, it will become distressing to you. So, and I understand what you're saying, because I'm sure I even myself experienced that. One is to decide, if you're feeling that way, why you like it, right? And then two, to see if it is something that you could continue doing for the next, let me give a number, 5 years. If you realize it's something that you can't do, maybe you should start to reevaluate a different way of doing it. Because enjoyment should be part of our lives. Eh?
Well, I mean, interesting you said that, because isn't that sometimes the challenge of the modern life, where because it's deemed wrong or something, somebody might feel a sense of guilt at first. It gives them the thrill. That's why they do it. And I guess they do it so much that eventually they trick themselves into thinking, well, it's normal. So let's use, for example, somebody who might be a shoplifter. Yes, some people do it because of circumstance, but there are people who come from good circumstance.
Right. Who's getting excitement.
And it's just that excitement of being able to, even if it's a sweetie, they nab something and they come out of the store, and that excitement of, I take something from them. And they enjoy it, and then they find ways to actually to justify what they're doing.
Well, let me explain.
I'm just using a kind of example.
No, but that's a great point, because when in majority of your life you don't have that enjoyment, you end up being in a deficit. And so enjoyment, that's a simple term, but what it is our brain have a pleasure center, reward system. It's not just one part, it's various parts of your brain. Now, the purpose of that is to keep us alive. It's almost a survival. So if I'm not enjoying myself or it's not beneficial to me, your brain will not encourage you to do it. If it's beneficial to you, your brain will encourage you to do it. Now, if there are areas of your life, or maybe the majority of your life, you're not getting this enjoyment, then you're in a deficit. So then you'll be looking for it in some other place. So that's what sometimes cause people to develop vices, cause people to develop guilty pleasures, cause people to develop things that they're giving them the pleasure, but also maybe dangerous to the well-being. So, and that's why I'm bringing it up, because even for your mental health, understanding or making effort to do things, or the majority things that you actually enjoy, could help stop or curb some of the other behaviors that may be dangerous.
I know you always speak about transparency and being true to self. And I would imagine when you find ways to justify something that you're doing that might not be the best for you or the people around you, and you find a way to make that wrong right in your mind, that in a way is actually moving away from transparency. That is running away from the truth. Huh?
You're correct with that. And we do that with the justification happens because we all want to feel enjoyment, in life. Even, I was thinking about it when you were speaking on the police segment before, even why do people even drive recklessly, right? Because, and the officer said, thrill kills, right? You want the thrill because some other area of your life you're not really getting it, So you have to find it in some way. Indulge in behaviors that actually not beneficial to you.
What about, let's say, those who want to face a fear, face a challenge? So I've been asked on many occasions to skydive. You know, I know you can't do it in Trinidad, but when you go Florida and these places, you could go pay your money. To me, I think once that waiver form comes, that's when I realize how serious it is. And I think I might not be as willing. But I've seen many of my friends who do it, and they will post the pictures on the gram, whatever. Should I enjoy doing it? Should I enjoy doing something that takes me out of my comfort zone?
Well, put it this way. So let's use the criteria for enjoyment. One, you think it will bring you pleasure, don't answer it. You're thinking about any activity, any choice you have, would it bring you pleasure? And two, is it beneficial to you? Right? And if the answer is no to two of them, then you probably shouldn't do the thing.
Well, I think I shouldn't do it because I know that will scare me. That will have me, my belly will be in my throat.
Right. So because there are many times we put ourselves in out of our comfort zone, but because there's some perceived benefit. Right? So let's just say I had to learn something new, and I'm learning this thing new because I want to advance in my job. I don't know this thing, I had to learn a language, just give an example. But I put myself in discomfort because it's beneficial. I want to lose weight, so I have to change my diet or start doing exercise. That I don't really want to do that, but I could see the benefit it put me out of my comfort zone. But if you're looking at an activity or choice and it's not bringing you pleasure or have no perceived benefit, then maybe you shouldn't be doing it.
Well, I guess some people look at it through the lens of, this is stuff to make you grow, to make you face your fear heights, whatever. And after you do it, you feel like, oh my gosh, I could conquer the world now. I guess, people try to...
And that's some people, so therefore it have a perceived benefit to them, which is fine.
Yeah.
But if you can't perceive a benefit, say they shouldn't do it, because then what you're doing, you're putting yourself under pressure. You're putting yourself under stress. And then this degrades your mental health, and plenty of people go around doing it. So sometimes you wake up in the morning and you think about the things you have to do for the day, and you gain pleasure from none, and you can't even see the benefit from any. But you feel like you have to do it, or you feel like it's an obligation. If you do it, you might look bad, or you might look a certain way. And therefore, if you continue doing that, after a while you wouldn't even want to wake up. You wouldn't even want to get out of bed. And that's why I'm saying the importance of evaluating what you really enjoy.
Your mental health and your mental is really one of the most powerful parts of the whole existence, because let's segue really quick to relationships and intimacy. If somebody's not enjoying their partner anymore, what does that say?
It means, well, one, you should evaluate. So if you're not enjoying a relationship, whether it is romantic, friendship, family, whatever, if you're not enjoying it anymore, one, sit down and think, why? What changed? Did I change? Did something change? And then even discuss with the person. Even if you don't know, just discuss with the person. Say, you know what, I'm not feeling this anymore. And let me have the discussion, because if you don't discuss it, then you holding it inside. You could start to build resentment. You start to treat the person anyhow. You start to treat yourself anyhow. You start to look outside, right? You start to do things that you're still seeking that enjoyment, but now, because you didn't confront it, you're doing it in a way that may not be beneficial to you, or especially if somebody involved, may not be beneficial to the person or persons involved.
So ultimately, your answer, should you enjoy doing it?
Yes, you should enjoy doing it, and if you're not enjoying it, then you need to stop and evaluate why.
My goodness, what a interesting one. I guess the reality is, with this particular talking point, and when you look at your own life, whether it be from a work perspective, from a recreational perspective, even your own family and the people close to you, it's really to take an evaluation and be real. And I guess most of us, we tend to lean towards things we enjoy, any people we enjoy, any company.
Yeah,
that's where we go.
That's a survival. That's not just a personal preference, that's a survival instinct to go towards something that we enjoy. So that's why when your phone ring and you see somebody you don't want, your whole body, they start to pull away one time. When somebody come in the room and you don't really feel that person, right? Whether it is your blood don't take the person or not, right? You cringe from it. When you think about doing something you really want to do, your back starts with it's Sunday night and it's Monday morning and you know it either you want to go to work or go to school. Your body literally telling you, hey, I realize this thing is not enjoyable or it have no benefit to you, so I'm stopping you. I'm putting a stop to you, even though you might want to force undo it, right? So therefore now you fighting your own self, you know. So Monday morning when you wake up, your mental health already starts to degrade. Now I know it's not perfect, people can't just quit their job tomorrow, but to start to evaluate, and I'm saying this more and more because as things advance, I remember we all were talking before about as modernization come, as capitalism come, and things like crime would raise. The more you spend your life doing things you don't enjoy, is the more you look for it somewhere, and probably in an unhealthy place.
Wow, what an interesting talking point. We could take this so many different directions, you answer, but I want to thank you for bringing this particular topic forward on this Thursday morning. As always, you have the final say.
Nation, it don't make sense to do it if you're not enjoying it. Don't make life complicated, because even though life is not easy, it's really not that hard. Thank you for listening.
Behavioral change consultant, Johanse IODK. Touching base, you could check out Johanse online to obviously advance this conversation and others. Up next, some housekeeping. Ways to touch base with us to be part of the program, and I believe some weather with Jamark is also around the corner. See you soon.
Join Pastor Gino Jennings for our second Trinidad and Tobago Holy Convocation at the Centerpoint Mall, Centrum Auditorium, 325 Ramsaran Street, Chaguanas, Trinidad. Services are Saturday, October 11th at 6 p.m. and Sunday, October 12th at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Again, Centerpoint Mall, 325 Ramsaran Street, Chaguanas, Trinidad. Saturday, October 11th at 6 p.m. and Sunday, October 12th at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. For information, call 267-989-9189.
In the ever-changing media landscape, we at Guardian Media strive always to put you, our viewers and readers, first.
We strive to uphold the time-honored tenets of responsible journalism.
For us, accuracy is key.
And in our reporting, we strive not only to be first, but fair,
impartial,
and to uphold journalistic integrity.
Above all, we are accountable to you, and we must respect the views of our audience. That is our solemn contract with you.
Keen attention to detail.
Rigorous verification of facts. Use of credible sources and sound editorial judgment.
Keep track of our editorial policies and guidelines, including our corrections policy, by logging on to www.guardian.co.tt for more.
.30 on this Thursday morning, the 2nd of October 2025. Let's remind you ways and means to contact the team to reach out. You're sending a short email to tmb@cnc3.co.tt, our email address, and we look forward to seeing you soon. You could come sit with me in studio, or we send the Zoom link and you set up your shot at home, make sure the lighting correct, the audio on point, and hey, we'll have ourselves a great conversation. See you soon. I said across to the social media details. Instagram, Facebook, and X, formerly Twitter. I saw the owner of X, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump talking again. They seem to be, well, I don't know how cordial is cordial, but at least there was a touring within recent times. Very interesting. But again, we are very active via the social media. I get lots of my details on Instagram, and I also, because I have the app, check the app to stay on top of all the happenings, local, regional, international. This is your number one source, trust and believe me, your number one source for verified breaking news, all your favorite content on demand. Download this CNC3 mobile app today. Programming details also readily available. Now, the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian is a must, especially on a Thursday where you get your business Guardian. Today, no different, a really amazing copy. Kudos to Anthony and Aisha and the entire team. And as per usual, it's just a legacy that we have maintained for these last 108 years. And if you want to enjoy the Digital Guardian, you can visit guardian.co.tt. Let's head across to our food for thought. Words of inspiration on this Thursday morning. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man, or let's put a woman also, nor a man or woman, I don't want to leave the ladies out of this conversation here, perfected without trials. Listen, you must go through the trials. At the end of the day, it's adversity. And when you're really faced with that back against the wall scenario, that's where you find your inner strength. That's where you are able to grow and level up. And the life, some people get a smooth run. Kudos to them, but less than more. Most of us, there are certain trials and certain hurdles. And when you meet a hurdle, what you have to do, you overcome it. So, great words, inspiring words, as we get into this new month, this October, literally towards the end of 2025. Look how this year sprint away. Literally, it felt like yesterday. We now put on a nice suit and come out and it's Happy New Year, and the year nearly done, It's that serious. Let's hear from Jamark, see what's happening via our World Weather Wrap for today. Jamark, good morning.
Good morning. In today's weather wrap, we head over to Texas, where a dust devil was captured spinning across an empty field in the city of Bastrop on Tuesday. Brown dirt and dust were seen swirling around the field and then dissipating as it's about to cross the highway. Now, while they may resemble tornadoes, they are formed in a slightly different way, as they are mainly driven by intense heating and usually form under mostly clear skies. Even though it's rare, dust devils have caused damage to structures, as the larger ones can have winds up to 100 kilometers per hour. Now let's head over to Florida, where coastal residents are bracing for the return of king tides, also called spring tides, which are expected to peak from October 5th to 12th. Remember, this is when we have higher than normal high tides around full moon periods. These natural events can be exacerbated by rising sea levels in some areas and will bring minor to moderate sunny day flooding to low-lying coastal areas of Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and West Palm Beach. Roadways and storm drains are likely to be overwhelmed, particularly if the high tides coincide with rainfall. Officials urge caution, advising motorists to avoid driving through floodwaters to prevent vehicle damage and minimize property damage caused by the wakes. Cities continue to implement mitigation projects like tidal valves to boost resilience to flooding. Now let's take a look at our local weather forecast for today, where we can expect the hot and relatively dry conditions to continue. The high is likely to get up to about 34 degrees across most areas of Trinidad and slightly higher in the urban areas. Also, there's a low chance of the odd shower during the afternoon over Trinidad as well, most likely near the western coastline. Now, with these conditions in mind, remember to stay hydrated and cool as you conduct your daily activities. That's all for today's weather wrap. Back to you.
Jean-Marc, sincere thanks. Let's take the pause and we come back and get some details concerning our bingo. Bingo for the cause. It's happening tomorrow, Friday. Full details after the break.
Let the divine lights of the Dias bring victory over darkness into your life. Happy Diwali to all. A message from Kaleidoscope Paints Limited.
Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung, and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2, Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for life.
Somebody say bingo. That's right, it's bingo for the cause. It's happening tomorrow in St. James, and with me, Avanel Hector Joseph, team leader for ITNAC, I guess. We'll get the full details. Avanel, she's on the phone, a matter of fact. Avanel, good morning.
Hi, good morning, and how are you?
Fantastic, and I just want to get some details, obviously, about the bingo, but also about the organization. Tell us about the ITNAC team and what you all do.
Okay, well, firstly, I'm fresh back from Canada. There's some other team members there. We do relief and development. We seek to get funding to finance what we do. We are not state-funded. I want to make that clear. That's a misnomer. That's out in the public space. Because of the magnitude of our work, the fact that state agencies are consistently and continuously calling us to help persons, to help people who come to the state, when the state directs them to us. So that leads people, even those who call for help, to assume that we are state-funded. We are not. We are a grassroots-based entity, 23 years, operating in Trinidad and Tobago, and touching the nations of the earth, Kenya, India, all through the region. We do disaster response. We do developmental projects, back to school, helping people to be empowered, counseling micro-enterprise startups. And at this moment, we are actually in Canada. This is our second year we went. And some of the team members are still there. We are engaging members of the Caribbean diaspora, and even if we could connect with some Kenyans so that they can give back to what is happening in their own country. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, on the 22nd of October, we meet with the diplomatic community, consular community in the Toronto area, and on the 22nd, the Trinidad Consulate in Canada is hosting a meeting because we want to get more people involved. People want to give back. People want to be a part of what is happening in Trinidad. How can we help our brothers and sisters who are here? And they want to know that when they send stuff, somebody's not going to sell it. Somebody's not going to be doing it for self-profit. So we raise our funds through a number of different events and through writing letters and coming on the television like now, on the radio, the media, and engaging the public to see the value of what we do and to get buy-in.
Of course. Is there not a cause? Such a great initiative, and you all really step in when people are at their lowest, especially in times of natural disaster. So, full support, full support.
Just Monday, we got 6 requests from different persons to house people in need of emergency housing. But we have 2 properties fully designated to provide emergency housing, and then we have another property that's a guest house that's supposed to house volunteers, and when people come to stay, we raise funds. About a half of that third property is also filled, and we are now looking to see if anybody have any house they want to lend us for a 2-year, 3-year period that we can provide there. People sleeping in pavilions, people sleeping in cars. Listen, it would break your heart what is happening to people right now as we speak. We are at the end. We finished September. 2-3 weeks of school, and some children have not yet gone back to school. That is the grimness of our reality that must be addressed in a very quick way through civil society response. And ITNAC is part of that response. There are many others, and we are just part of that process.
Yes, Avanel, indeed. And that's why I would imagine like tomorrow's initiative. It's been done to raise funds, just really to bring awareness. And I guess as much as what you do is very serious, I guess there is still that opportunity to make people smile and enjoy themselves. That's why you're putting on a bingo.
A lot of our fundraisers, we try to make it light. One, for the team, because what we do is a bit depressing at times. So we also need to, I have a friend who started an NGO, and in a couple of years, it was just too much for them. They actually just gave out chunks of money to other NGOs because it's hard. It's not easy to be sleeping. Last time, for me to get sleep, that's how come I oversleep. I had to put my phone away from my bed because it takes a toll on you, and you've got to manage it. And so we also create that space in the bingo community. They have embraced us. That's a whole vibe in Trinidad. I didn't even know, right? So we are having this bingo this Friday, that's tomorrow, on the Western Main Road, upstairs Fluorescence. It's near to Standards, and persons can call me on 394-2042. 394-2042. They can book their space, book their table at $75. You get 2 free cards, complimentary tea, complimentary water. So all the bingo lovers, you can have some good prizes. 7:30, but people come from all afterwards, so we're prepared for you if you want to come, sit down, chill. We have a thrift shop. Another way we raise funds, you can thrift, and this would be, after that, we have our big event on the 17th of November. It's like our main fundraiser. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas 4, which would be held at the Chamber of Commerce, and we want to thank the police band. They're going to be our main feature there.
Yeah, give me some details about that particular engagement, because I know tomorrow the bingo is going to be tremendous. There's a bingo community that once you say bingo, they're going to show up.
They come out.
That's right. But what's happening in November, you said? I know you mentioned.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. For the last 3 years, we've had it at the Central Bank. This year, we are moving to the Chamber of Commerce building because the Central Bank has a limitation is that you can't really eat during the show, obviously, when you get inside. But the Chamber's layout will allow us to serve eats and drinks during the event, right?
That's the Chamber building there in West. That's the Chamber building in Westmoreland.
Yes, just behind the falls or Westmoreland. That's older people, not me. Older people used to call it.
Yes.
I'm the older person. That's 54. Yes, so it's in Westmoreland there, right? And it's $400. Your $400 is a contribution that will help us to do some stuff. We just acquired our building in St. James Cockwood area. It's a 3-story building, the old Prestige building. And we would have come on your station over the years and asked the viewers to support us to get a place to call home, an administrative place, because we don't have our own space, right? And we asked them to support, and people supported. We've gotten the building, and we want to say thank you to Trinidad and Tobago and the wider viewing committee for making it happen. So we have a number of different properties. Those are for housing purposes. In November, we're going to open the city outreach. There are showers. There's a kitchen. People can come. They can get meals. They can get clothes. That's right there in East Porter Space. So we have all of those type of properties. But this particular home-based, it will be the hub of our operations, the epicenter of what we will be doing to continue to impact Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean and the world. So we got the building, but we have to do a lot of reservations. So this process that we're having on the 17th, I hope I'm saying the right thing. It's Sunday the 17th or Sunday the 16th. It's in November. I have to check my phone, right? It's $400. You get cocktails. Well, let me say mocktails, right?
All right.
You have mocktails, finger foods, fashion. The police band is going to be there. You get a lot for your $400.
Well, let me tell you. Avanel, again, kudos to you and the entire team. ITNAC is there, not a cause, great work, full support from us, and I know the bingo tomorrow will be a tremendous success.
And we bank with First Citizens Bank, so people can just go ask, is there not a cause account? Is there not a cause? And 394-2042, and they can link with us. Thank you. Yeah,
you're welcome. As always, Avanel touching base with us. And tomorrow it's bingo. Let's put the bingo up for those bingo lovers. St. James, right there. That's the corner by West Standard is located, literally on the main road. The old post office licensing in that vicinity. Can't miss it, yeah? Have a time. We come back. Let's open the lines, give you a chance to check in as we wrap things up and we go till 8 o'clock. Open forum up next.
show by far for 2025.
You don't leave out to watch Corn is the #1 comedy of 2025. And this weekend we head to Sapa in San Fernando on Saturday, October 4th at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday, October 5th at 6:30 p.m.
I never knew these plays were this good. I'm not missing another one.
Tickets available at the Sapa Box from 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. And at K-Squared Fashion, C3 Center, and Brentford Mall, Chagonas, as well as Friends of Marabella by the Roundabout. A play so funny, you can't watch it once. Leave out to watch.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this rain graphic. Somebody's calling the rain today. I don't know. Is it raining right now? I mean, I don't know. I guess, Jamak said at some point we found ourselves kind of like hot sun and then lunchtime, plenty rain, and then it gets back to a kind of place of normalcy. And, well, yesterday was real steamy and hot. It was a real hot day yesterday. So by all means, listen, just always take in the weather report, know what's happening so you could plan and prep your day accordingly. Let's head to the line, 624-8721, 627-8658. I saw the score. I was just, talking earlier on. I think somebody would have mentioned the score, but when I got the official score here, my good friend Francis sent it to me. West Indies made 162. This is a test score, against India, the #1 cricketing country in the world. And well, if we are down for 162, let's see. Let's be probably moderate here. Let's be. My whole pause on that. I want to frustrate myself with the cricket right now. Let's head to Central. Good morning, Central.
Yeah, pleasant. Good morning, Jason.
Morning.
All right, here's what. Well, I will be there tomorrow for the bingo, all right? I'll be there. I'll touch base with you there.
Nice.
Right? She took the call as she came up there, right? So I'll be there tomorrow for the bingo. I don't know if I might see her, right? Nonetheless, but I'll be there. That's my experience, basically. I would like to say a couple of things here with all due respect, right? Jason, I am not bitter, right? I just feel sorry, but not for myself. For a lot of people who believe, right, who honestly believe, right, and I would say this with all due respect because I'm not into name calling, right? I'm not into name. I believe I am more mature and responsible enough, right, to have a conversation without calling anybody any name, all right? So the lady from Diego Martin should have said certain things yesterday, right? And I believe that I am so sorry for people who think that PNM is the way 100%. Because let me tell you something. There are people out there who would think that, hey, you know what, if PNM give them mud to eat, they say put ketchup on the mud, but we still vote in PNM. Why? Because they fail to see and they fail to realize that they have the PNM's back, But the question is, does the PNM have their back, regardless if they're in office or out of office? Understand what I'm saying, right? And she made a statement yesterday relevant to Stuart Young. Now, as a woman, I would expect more from her, right, than to make that statement in defense of Stuart Young, saying that, listen, that he apologized and whatever the case is. Let me tell you something. For him to make that statement, right, that is a series of events in motion. That didn't just come out just so. That clearly states the personality of the person. To me, right, I think it is distasteful, right, and it's very inappropriate and very ugly statements that he would have made to the Honorable Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, who would have given everything that she could give. Not only the 5 years that she did, but presently what she is doing right now. And what does that say, Jason? Right? If it is you could make those statements about a person in the washroom, then therefore you was in the washroom too. Does he be in the women's washroom?
Well, I mean,
understand what I'm saying, Jason? Is he a peeping Tom?
Well,
How does he know these things? Is he a peeping Tom? Let me tell you something, Jason. That man, right? That man, I am just describing where character is concerned here. He carries about himself as a narcissist. And why I say that is because he goes around speaking all sorts of things. And when he's caught in his lies and his inconsistencies of the truth, if I may say, he gets vexed. You must observe him carefully. Observe him carefully. So I think that really and truly that we need to look into a lot of things, right? We need to look into the government is here. This government is doing very well so far, right? And we must appreciate that. We must not.
All right, Shogunas, let's get some more people in. Obviously, we want to at least, get as many calls going up to the 8 o'clock hour. Let's keep it nice and concise and tight, and because I know obviously Shogunas, he always brings lots of different points. Santa Cruz also. So if you're calling this morning, nice and tight, so that we could get as many in moving up to the 8 o'clock hour. 624-8721, 627-8658. Let's hear from you. So as mentioned, we made this particular score is not really anything that's competitive when we consider who we're playing against in a test, and knowing that they're going to bat. This could be over in about 3 days, It's unfortunate, but let's see how things go. Let's set to Sandy Grandy. Grandy, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you, JW.
Morning, Grandy.
Now, JW, the UNC don't realize that they're looking very bad, because, listen, they said that the Dragon deal is dead, right? They say Maduro, Venezuela, the U.S. have sanctions on them. Maduro is a wanted man. He is not recognized as Venezuelan president. Now, you're telling us now that you're going to have negotiations with the same man who you're saying is not recognized as president. JW, they're looking to get run out of Venezuela. Right? That is all I can tell you. Right? They have no plan, right, to take Trinidad and Tobago forward as far as I see. They're using, all that is P&M projects, right? Up to now, I don't see nothing new they bring into the table to raise revenue for our country. Okay, JW, thank you very much for allowing me the contribution.
You're all the best, Grandy. Thanks for touching base. I would have mentioned yesterday and even today that it's going to take really intricate and super diplomacy to get through this particular murky water and this moment of time in the relations between ourselves and our neighbor Venezuela. I mean, if they're able to pull it off, well, amazing. But it's going to be a lowering of the temperature and a changing of the tone. And let's see how the days and the weeks and months ahead pan out. Let's head to, I believe it's Rio Claro. Good morning.
Hey, morning, man.
Yes, welcome.
Hey, I had some suggestions to pass on to the police. Yeah. You see like how the numbers they post up with
Rio, you break up
type of drugs is correct?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's like, I thinking is like, if they could also do the same kind of thing for two different scenarios. For like the amount of reports of, say like various crimes they have reports of. Say like they have so much of robberies, so much of murders, so much of rape, so much of larceny, so much of fraud and thing. As well as how much they get reports they get for the month or the week or whatever it is, as well as how much the detection rates each of those, and the convictions in the court each of those. And the next scenario now is for like the accidents on them. We just get the figures for like how many accidents there are, but I want to know the various causes of the accidents. So they could post up the figures for, well, accidents caused by defective tires, so much and so much accidents caused by...
A little more detailed analysis is what you're looking at. All right, Rio. I'll put that forward to Officer Russell, and I guess the top brass they're looking on. So he's looking at a more detailed breakdown of the empirical data. He wants to get root cause. I think they might know, but I guess, will that change attitudes and behavior? Only time will tell, but thanks for the suggestion nonetheless. Feel free. We have obviously, about 5 minutes again to go, so we could, if time permits, we could probably squeeze two more inside. 624-8721 and 627-8658. Just again, a quick reminder, World Cup qualifying action continues this month. It's a must-win. And we're coming up against Bermuda on the 10th. So I'll keep you posted with that. Let's head to Mount Lambert. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome, Mount Lambert. I'm listening.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
All is well. Go ahead.
So this is about the Caracas thing. You're doing like the onus is only on Trinidad, but Venezuela, I guess, wanted as much as we do. So why do you all keep saying that like we have to bend the knee?
Well, remember the resources are in their territorial waters, you know, so really and truly we are tapping into their resource, and with the collaborative effort, they will benefit, we'll benefit, but right now they can't benefit based on how the OFAC license is set up, and our utterances, Monk Lambert, it's been less than complimentary, and their utterances with our Prime Minister too leaves much to be desired. So how are we going to even do business if we cussing each other?
Well, I think they need it. I think the ball is more in our court than their court when you look at it. If you ask me.
I respectfully beg to differ. I think the fact that we were quoting them, even not, it's not now, you know, remember the last administration went across, we saw former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley dancing, all kind of cha-cha-cha and twisting and twirling with Maduro. Remember that? All
Because they opened the country to all the Venezuelans to come in here. They was playing a game with Venezuela. They wasn't thinking about our security at all. But anyway, what I am saying is that we both need each other. It's not that Trinidad alone have to bend. And I think Maduro and they could have just get around Kamala, and because she's a woman, they kick her, they call her all kind of unbecoming names. So let's see what happens. But I think we both need each other.
Thank you so much, Monk Lambert. And I agree, yes, some of the language out of Caracas was really less than complimentary towards the Prime Minister. But again, let's see if the diplomacy could prevail. We take one more from Arima. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning,
Good
JW
morning.
and your your program team and the nation. My concern is that I listened to the Prime Minister a couple of times at the address of the United Nations, and at the beginning she said 60th anniversary, and it's really 80th anniversary, and I think the people who are supporting her need to ensure that she sees the thing, or whatever it is that she's reading from is accurate, because that's an embarrassment. 20 years since the World War ended, the United Nations came to being. That's it.
All right, Arima. Thank you, for sure. Yeah, again, we thank all for the calls. And to Monk Lambert, I understand the point, very solid point. I guess, once you're dealing with business, especially on that level, there will be benefits on both sides. But I think before we even sit down and start to treat with the business, there needs to be a change of tone, tenor, and language. We can't go forward with that kind of loose argument. It's not, we're talking here leaders, of a country that are neighbors. They've been neighbors for centuries. They'll be neighbors after we are gone. They were neighbors before we reach. And that kind of language is not going to work out at all. So there needs to be a change and a definite shift. And I guess that's what the diplomats and all those on that particular level will try to trash out in the days, weeks, months, probably years ahead. With that being said, it's been a great show. Thanks so much for tuning in. Godspeed, I'm back tomorrow for more action-packed Friday as always. Your poetry, your music, real pace. Until then, have a safe and productive Thursday, Trinidad and Tobago. See you tomorrow.
The Morning Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong.